When we think of the Middle Ages, images of knights in shining armor, of damsels in distress, and of castles that seem to touch the clouds may spring to mind. But behind those high stone walls, in the very heart of medieval life, there existed a world of intimate customs and beliefs that might surprise you. If you're ready to uncover secrets that time and societal norms have tried to bury, let's embark on this journey together. In the tapestry of medieval life, few threads are as intriguing, as scandalous, and as revealing as those that deal with sexuality and desire. Let's pull on these threads, unraveling tales that blend the sacred and the erotic, the playful and the perverse, the innocent and the knowing. Imagine yourself walking through a bustling medieval marketplace. Merchants hawk their wares. The air is thick with spices and fresh bread, and children chase each other through the throngs of people. What would you see in this vibrant crowd? Well, perhaps you'd notice a group of young men and women flirting openly, laughing and exchanging glances. In medieval Europe, public displays of affection were not as frowned upon as one might assume. Modesty certainly existed, but the concept of privacy was less developed, and people's private lives often spilled into the public sphere. Men and women openly discussed their crushes, their desires, and even their sexual needs. In fact, during the medieval period, it was quite common for couples to engage in courtship rituals in public places. Remember the famous balcony scene in Romeo and Juliet? Well, it was inspired by a real-life tradition known as balcony, which involved young men serenading their beloveds from the safety of a balcony. During this time, a young man hoping to attract a lady's attention might compose and sing a song about his affection directly to her window. Can you imagine hearing a lovesick Romeo crooning his feelings to his Juliet in the next apartment over? That was the medieval experience for many. Courtship wasn't just about grand gestures. Small acts of kindness were also seen as a way to win over a potential partner. A medieval knight, known for his bravery and strength, might find himself drawn to a seemingly unattainable noble lady. So how did he show his interest? Well, he might start by performing small favors for her, bringing her a favorite flower or helping her with a task. Such gestures were not only a means of expressing affection, but also a way to demonstrate one's character and worthiness. If you've ever watched a historical drama set in the Middle Ages, you've probably noticed a lot of kissing going on, especially on the mouth. It might seem a bit too intimate for a period drama, but in medieval Europe, kissing was a common and accepted form of greeting, regardless of one's social status. In fact, kissing was so commonplace that it was often done on the mouth, whether between lovers, family members, or friends. There was no real equivalent to the modern concept of a handshake. A kiss was simply the customary way to show warmth and camaraderie. But wait, there's more. Medieval kissing wasn't just about showing affection. It was also a way to test one's partner's fidelity. You might be wondering, what do you mean? Well, let me explain. Jealousy was a common emotion in medieval relationships, and people often suspected their partners of infidelity. So what did they do to test their partner's loyalty? They kissed them, specifically on the mouth. If a kiss was met with a positive response, it was seen as a sign of fidelity. However, if the person responded negatively or avoided the kiss, it was seen as a sign of possible infidelity. It might seem a bit uncomfortable to us today, but in medieval Europe, this was the norm. During the Middle Ages, it was widely believed that a lack of sexual release could lead to illness. Now, this belief didn't stem from a place of debauchery, but rather from a genuine concern for health. Medieval medical theory held that an excess of sexual energy, or humor, needed to be regularly released to maintain balance within the body. This was true for both men and women, though the expectations were different. For women, the pressure to conform to certain standards of sexual behavior was immense. Virginity was highly prized, and women who engaged in premarital sex or had multiple partners were often stigmatized and harassed. But once married, women were expected to prove their sexual faithfulness. How did they do this? Well, they were required to submit to periodic tests of fidelity. These tests usually involved a physical examination of the hymen, which was believed to be a reliable indicator of virginity. However, the practice of testing the marriage bed went beyond a mere examination. It was a full-blown ritual. Men suspected of having an unfaithful wife would often call upon a group of women to inspect their bed linen for signs of infidelity. If blood was found, it was assumed that the woman had been unfaithful, and she would be publicly shamed and ostracized. Talk about a dramatic and disturbing custom. Medieval Europe was a deeply religious time, and this permeated all aspects of daily life, including sexuality. Chastity was highly valued, and it was believed that sexual urges were temptations from the devil himself. For men, the Catholic Church taught that lust was one of the 7 deadly sins, and priests were required to take vows of celibacy. However, this doesn't mean that sex was viewed entirely negatively. In fact, the Catholic Church encouraged procreation as a way to control the population and expand the Christian community. There was even a specific term for the regulation of sexual activity: chastity belt. Despite the emphasis on chastity, it was still acknowledged that sexual desire was a natural part of being human. It was simply something that needed to be controlled and directed appropriately. As you can see, medieval views on sexuality were complex and contradictory, shaped by religious beliefs, social norms, and medical theories. And the customs and beliefs we've explored are just a glimpse into this multifaceted world. Each one tells us a little more about the medieval mindset, a time when science and spirituality were intertwined in unique and sometimes surprising ways. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on the stories we've shared today. From the awkward to the bizarre, these tales offer a fascinating insight into the world of medieval Europe. If you've enjoyed this journey through time, please don't hesitate to give this video a thumbs up. Your support means a lot and inspires us to keep bringing you more engaging content. Before we part ways, let's talk about what you've learned. Were you surprised by any of these customs and beliefs? Did you know about them beforehand? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. We love reading your comments and responding to them. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You'll be the first to know when we release new videos. Thank you for joining us on this adventure through the captivating world of medieval customs. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the past. If you've ever looked up at the towering structures of the Mayan cities or marveled at the intricate codes of the Aztec Empire, you've probably been captivated by their ingenuity and cultural richness. However, what if I told you that behind the magnificent pyramids and the complex social hierarchies, there existed rituals that were so shocking they challenge our very understanding of humanity? Today, let's unravel the enigmatic tapestry of Mayan and Aztec culture by exploring their disturbing rituals that will leave you questioning the boundaries of human endurance. Let's start with the Maya, their empire, flourishing in what is now Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras between 2000 and 1697, left behind legacies in art, architecture, and mathematics. But their religious practices were far from conventional. One of the most disturbing was the ritual ball game. This wasn't your typical sport. It was a deadly contest played on a court with solid rubber balls twice the size of a head and twice as heavy as a man. Players used only their hips, knees, and elbows to maneuver the ball, but the aim of the game was not to score points, but to prevent it. The losing team would be sacrificed to the gods. The Maya believed that these games mimicked the movements of the celestial bodies. The winning team ascended to the heavens while the losers descended into the underworld. Capturing the ball symbolized victory over the sun, a feat considered supreme hubris and was met with severe punishment. Moving on to the Aztecs, whose empire thrived in central Mexico between the 14th and 16th centuries, they left behind a legacy of military prowess and cultural achievements. However, their society was structured around a brutal system of human sacrifice. Human sacrifice was integral to their religious beliefs. They believed that the gods needed blood to maintain the universe, and that bloodletting kept the sun moving across the sky every day. Captives from warring nations were usually the victims, but sometimes commoners volunteered. The great temple of Huitzilopochtli in Tenochtitlan was the site of mass sacrifices. During festivals, hundreds of victims were killed simultaneously, their blood flowing into a sacred pool at the base of the temple steps. After sacrificing hearts, the heads of the victims were cut off and hung from the temple walls, sending a message of warning and might to other city-states. The Aztecs believed that the human heart contained the essence of life, and nothing demonstrated loyalty and devotion to their gods like giving them this precious essence. The main deities, Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc, demanded regular appeasement. Huitzilopochtli, the god of the sun and war, required human hearts to sustain the sun's life force and ensure its daily journey across the sky. Failing to appease him would result in the sun's demise, plunging the world into eternal darkness. Tlaloc, the rain god, demanded blood sacrifices to ensure the fertility of the land and a bountiful harvest. Drought and famine were seen as his punishments for those who did not honor him. The Aztecs took these demands seriously, believing that if the gods were not appeased, they would unleash chaos and destruction upon the empire. Now, let's discuss one of the most unsettling facets of Aztec culture, their veneration of the goddess Coyolxauhqui. Depicted as a pregnant woman with her entrails spilling out, she represented death, suffering, and rebirth. Her image was a constant reminder of the cycle of life, death, and renewal. The Aztecs believed that Coyolxauhqui was the mother of the moon and stars, and that her monthly cycle influenced the phases of the moon. They associated her with the underworld and saw her as the devourer of souls. To appease her, they offered human sacrifices, especially of pregnant women, believing that it would ensure the continuation of the cosmic order. While it's crucial to understand these practices in the context of the Aztec worldview, they undoubtedly evoke a sense of unease and horror. The thought of such brutality and ritualized violence is unsettling to our modern sensibilities. It's important to study these practices not to condone them, but to gain a deeper understanding of cultures vastly different from our own, and to reflect on how far we've come in our own societal evolution. The human sacrifices of the Aztecs serve as a stark reminder of the lengths to which people will go to appease their gods. It also raises questions about the nature of faith and the complexities of human belief systems. How does one reconcile the seemingly senseless brutality of human sacrifice with the beauty and ingenuity of Aztec art and culture? The answer lies in the realm of faith, where reason often takes a back seat. The Aztecs believed that their gods demanded blood sacrifices to sustain the cosmic order. It was a belief that governed their society, shaped their worldview, and determined their fates. As I delve deeper into the world of ancient civilizations, I am constantly amazed by the diversity and complexity of human cultures. The Mayans and Aztecs, with their intriguing rituals and beliefs, are a testament to the richness and depth of our shared human history. While their practices may seem bizarre or unsettling to us today, they were deeply ingrained in the spiritual and societal fabric of their civilizations. To truly appreciate their cultures, we must embrace the full spectrum of their beliefs and practices, both the awe-inspiring and the disturbing. In doing so, we challenge ourselves to confront the darkness that has existed alongside the light throughout human history. By acknowledging this darkness, we gain a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped our world and the complexities of the human condition. So let us continue to explore the enigmatic world of ancient civilizations, embracing the full spectrum of their cultures and confronting the darkness that has existed alongside the light. Through this exploration, we not only pay homage to the past, but also enrich our understanding of the present and inspire wonder in those who come after us. To truly comprehend the human experience, we must confront the darkness that has always existed alongside the light. The rituals of the Mayans and Aztecs, while disturbing, were integral parts of their societies. To appreciate their cultures, we must understand and acknowledge them in their entirety. Let us continue to explore the depths of human history and the complexities of human belief systems, embracing the full spectrum of our collective heritage. Only then can we truly appreciate the richness and depth of our shared human story. What do you think about the disturbing rituals of the Mayans and Aztecs? Share your thoughts and join the discussion. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified of our upcoming videos. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. In the dim oil lamp light, his face was obscured by shadows, but I saw the fire in his eyes. "You want to know about magic," he said, his voice like gravel. "Then look around you. Every king, every pope, every beggar has his own brand of it." What he taught me that night changed everything. Magic isn't just spells and incantations. It's the unseen forces that shape our world. And nowhere is magic more potent than in the hearts of men. Today we celebrate the Renaissance as the age of light, of knowledge, and rebirth. But let me show you the other side of that coin. Step with me now into the shadowy corners of a glorious past and hear the heartbeat of a world where faith and fervor were as volatile as gunpowder, where men knelt before forbidden books and kings dabbled in the dangerous arts of bloodletting and resurrection. This is the forgotten lore, the rituals so secret they stained the souls of the powerful. We start our journey in a small candlelit room in 16th century Prague. Here, amidst the stench of stale waste and night soil, lives a man obsessed. He is an alchemist, a seeker of forbidden lore, a servant of the arcane. Come closer. See how his hands shake as he conducts his unholy experiments, his gaunt face illuminated by furnace glow. He works tirelessly, driven by an insatiable curiosity to unlock the mysteries of creation. His fingers fly across a weathered manuscript, its pages filled with cryptic diagrams of worlds unseen. And then he stops, his eyes gleaming with manic intensity. He turns away from his work and addresses you directly. "I have found it," he whispers urgently, his voice hoarse with fatigue and excitement. "The key to immortality. All I need is one final ingredient, something pure, something precious, something—" His gaze drifts to a vial of blood beside him. "I have everything I need." As he reaches out, you can almost hear the clash of worlds, the old ways battling the new. This is the here and now, the crucible of a changing era. Let me guide you deeper into this world of shadows and fire. Imagine yourself standing in a crowded marketplace in 17th century Germany, surrounded by merchants hawking their wares, children at play, and gossip swirling in the balmy air. Suddenly, a commotion erupts near the town square. You push through the throngs of people to see a group of men dragging a woman toward the center of town. Their faces are grim. Her panicked cries echo in the narrow streets. She is accused of being a witch, a manipulator of the unseen forces that drive our world. The townspeople, fueled by superstition and fear, close in on her, their whispers growing louder. Burn her, they chant, their voices rising like a crescendo. The woman collapses, her pleas for mercy drowned out by the angry mob. As the flames rise, reaching for the night sky, she becomes a tiny figure trapped within their hungry embrace. Her silhouette dances against the firelight, a silent scream frozen on her lips. The crowd cheers, convinced they are purging their world of evil. They have become the judges, the jury, and the executioner, all in the name of a greater good. But our journey takes us further, deeper into the core of this enigmatic era. We step now into the hallowed halls of power, where kings and queens don the trappings of divinity while hiding their mortal doubts. Imagine yourself privy to a secret meeting in an opulent palace chamber. Light filters through stained glass windows, painting the floor in hues of red and blue. The air is thick with the scent of beeswax and old stone. Before you stands a medieval monarch, a vessel of both majesty and vulnerability. His face, etched with the burdens of leadership, betrays his inner turmoil. You witness as he dips a finger into a vial of blood, tracing ancient symbols on a wall, seeking divine guidance, or perhaps trying to bind his very soul to the throne. His eyes gleam with feverish intensity as he utters words of power, his voice echoing with conviction and desperation. Is he bartering with unseen forces, or has he simply surrendered his humanity to duty? The ritual ends, but the questions linger like ghosts in the great halls. Now we travel back in time to the frigid plains of northern Europe, where ice and snow paint the landscape in monochrome. We seek out the warrior monks known as the Teutonic Order, whose deeds have been romanticized, but whose true story is shrouded in shadow. Picture a stark stone chapel carved into a hillside. Inside, you see a brotherhood bound by solemn oaths and shrouded in secrecy. The Teutonic Order was once a pious band of healers, tending to pilgrims on their way to the Holy Land. But as you witness now, they have evolved into ruthless warriors, waging holy wars across Europe. As you observe the midnight ceremony, you notice subtle signs of darkness creeping into their rituals. The warriors are adorned in menacing black armor, their faces hidden behind steel visors. The air grows heavy with the scent of incense and something else, something darker, musky, and primal. Their vows are whispered not to God, but to a symbol emblazoned on their banners, a grim specter that seems to stare back with cold, unblinking eyes. The ceremony concludes, and the knights march out into the frozen night, their footsteps echoing with the promise of violence and conquest. The line between devotion and damnation has blurred. With each step you take, you descend deeper into the rituals that defined the Renaissance. In darkened laboratories, alchemists risking life and limb, unlocking the secrets of the elements. In the royal courts, the mingling of power and blood, and in the shadowed corners of society, the persistence of the occult, despite the march of progress. Your journey leads you to the crossroads of history, where darkness and light intertwined in an intricate dance. These rituals are not merely relics of the past. They are echoes of the human condition, reflecting our deepest fears and aspirations. They remind us that no matter how far we advance, the shadows of our past always linger nearby, waiting to be unearthed. And as your journey comes to an end, you carry with you the unsettling realization that the boundaries between sanity and madness, between devotion and obsession, between progress and regression, are often as thin as a sheet of parchment, as fragile as a king's sanity. Our series takes you back to the roots of modern society, where power and faith danced a perilous jig. Join us as we uncover the arcane rituals that shaped civilizations from ancient Egypt to medieval Europe. Because when the campfire flickers low and the storyteller leans in close, that's when the real magic happens. That's when the secrets of the ancients come alive in the shadows. If you have a story you want shared, please write it in the comments section below. Who knows? You might be the next featured story. But remember, the deeper you delve into the lore, the thinner the veil becomes. So tread carefully, for magic is a double-edged sword. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your wits sharper. For the world is full of wonders if you know where to look. The past is never dead. It's not even past. William Faulkner.